r/AskReddit people who posted their story on Reddit and the person in said story found it. How did it go? I have many stories, but the one I tell the most is the story of how I became a paraplegic. I won't retell it here because it is sort of lengthy and kind of gut-wrenching. Needless to say, I wasn't always handicapped. It was a vehicular accident. Turns out the guy that hit me uses Reddit. He's a cross-country semi-truck driver who I assume is now swamped with work thanks to the coronavirus. We kept in contact after my accident. He would check in on me at the hospital for the long stay I had and would regularly call me after I finally return home. Somehow he must have lost his phone or broke it without syncing contacts through Google, because when I called him on Thanksgiving last year it went to a different person who had no clue who I was. I felt bad because we had kind of become pen pals over the years. Well, I told my story on some subreddit a while ago. More of a watered down version, but essentially my story. I was direct messaged by someone here asking if I lived in such and such town, had a wife named wife's name, and if my name was Dudimo. Whoever it was had all that info, and I'm a pretty private person. Not even my wife knows my Reddit username, but she doesn't use Reddit point, so I responded with, "Who is this?" I got a response back that made me grin from ear to ear because it's an inside joke between us. It said, tag. You're it. Call me sometime, 30th XXXX. I got my old pal back because I put my story up on Reddit. Edit. Stop being shy, Tony. If you can text me that you saw this, you can at least say hi to every 1 second. Edit. Tony won't say hi because he sucks. That's right, Tony. You suck. Told you I did. Picture it. https://i.img.com/0npx12f.jpg. I just have to tell you that your comment made me smile, and I want to say how amazing it is that you befriended the person who hit you. That takes some real maturity and I applaud you. Well, I posted a homework question to an obscure subreddit. The only reply was a link to my class course page. That won as well as expected. A bit indirect, but outcome was life-changing. I made a post about dating a coworker, now current partner, on a forum for step-parents. He has a child, I do not. Then, a few months later I posted on r/Amethyst hole about something unrelated, and the post blew up. My other coworker found the ATA post, and the post about dating a guy with a son, and told my partner and my boss. My partner was okay with it, although mildly upset that I didn't bring my concerns to him originally, but my boss told me that, while dating a coworker wasn't prohibited or wrong, but it would negatively impact my career. My partner was told congratulations, and got a promotion shortly after. I was demoted. It did negatively impact my career. Thanks, Dan and Sean. You'll suck. My partner and I both quit a few months later. First of all, anyone who spells Sean like that automatically becomes an asshole. Like WTF even. That is so gross. This will negatively impact your career, because I will make sure it does. I hope your new situation is better. Your other coworker is a major asshole for telling your partner and boss about your account, especially your boss. Why would think they have any right to share that? Bah. I'm betting that your boss or the other guy found you attractive, and you were probably single at the timing of the signing, but found you unattractive after they found out you were dating. There's a lot of studies conducted about implicit bias, and it's not uncommon for women to be treated differently and lose out on career opportunities after their bosses find out a single woman is no longer single. I'm not saying I'm right, just that it's a similar scenario to what I've read about. Glad you're out. You deserve better. Not exactly a story, but I posted a picture of a cat from my college campus. Someone from the same college identified the cat. We met a week later and became really good friends. Found my ex's profile. He wrote about sorting out feelings with a friend, not me, that he always liked. They always had a Ross/Rachel quality to them, but reading his posts made so much sense. My sister posted about her abusive ex, and he saw it, but the thing is it wasn't trending, so the only way he could see it was if he went to her profile and found it. Then instead of sorting it out himself, he had his mother call her and ask her to stop embarrassing her poor boy. What a loser. Told a story about a guy I knew in high school that I hadn't spoken to in a few years. He saw it, reached out to me, we talked about how we were mutually attracted to each other in high school. He was broken up with his long-term girlfriend, so we hooked up once, and then he went back to her toxic crap again. Oh well, I got to scratch that itch. He still has my copy of a book that a friend of mine put a handwritten note on the front page of, though. I've offered to send him a new copy of his choosing and pay for shipping if he'll send it back, but he ghosted me. Maybe he'll see this post too and send me good omens. I found that a friend of mine posted about me on r/amethysthole. He is a really close friend of mine, and I forgot to wish him on his birthday for the second time. He got a little angry, didn't say that to me though. He still doesn't know that I know. I felt awful about forgetting it. I was in that phase that I had no clue what day or date it is. But I will make it a point to not disappoint him in future. Vented about a friend. Said friend had apparently been snooping my Reddit account. She has a long history of going through people's devices to snoop and find info. I hadn't given her my Reddit account. She decided based on that post to ghost me. I reached out a couple times, and then she blew up at me and said all kinds of awful things, but honestly, good riddance. She used to tell me about snooping on her husband and other people. That stuff always made me uncomfortable, but I tried to be supportive because we'd been friends for so long, and she always had some kind of justification. But she has always been surrounded by drama and conflict, and we had had a falling out before. I should have known it would come around to me again. I had another throwaway account where I posted stories about my mill. One weekend when visiting her, she started repeating things almost verbatim from the comments and stories. I think it was just a power play to let me know she had found the stories. I played it cool, pretended I didn't recognize anything she was saying, and then promptly deleted the account, started a new one and changed the easily guessable if you know me password on my phone. It didn't make her stop her shitty behavior. But now that she knows I'm onto her manipulation tactics, she tries to be sneakier about them and work harder to get my husband on her side. Shoulder shrug. It was not great, but not terrible. Posted in r/relationship advice maybe a year ago about how I'd been out of town and let my little sister house sit. Upon returning, it was extremely evident that she had sex with someone in my bed while I was away. Just nasty stuff. I arrived home late at night to disgusting sheets and my bed pulled back from the wall. Not great. Well, I sent her some texts to express my dissatisfaction, so she promptly freaked out and also posted to Reddit. Some people connected the two and theorized that she posted hoping I'd see it and take pity, which I too believe. Downside is that we know each other's account names now. Upside is that we got through it. Not terrible. I posted a story about a smear and terror campaign against a reporter by the Church of Scientology in r/Today I Learned. The reporter in said case saw the post and responded talking more about it, giving some great insight into the ordeal. The Church of Scientology saw it too, I bet, but have yet to respond. Edit. Link. https://www.reddit.com/r/today-learn/comments/rick/till_the_church_under_carried_out_or/. The Church of Scientology saw it too, I bet, but have yet to respond. I don't think they have seen it yet, since you are still alive and posting. /s. Big F you to Scientology. Not exactly me and kinda opposite, but I broke up with my boyfriend after I finally stopped ignoring my feelings that there was a reason my boyfriend was emotionally unavailable. I saw his deleted Reddit post a week after asking relationship advice if he should text his ex from 3 years ago because he just realized he'll never love someone the way he did her. That was pretty fucked up to read but also relieving. But you know what they say, don't go looking for things you don't want. Offended it. Words. That must have been brutal. But at least you know you made the right decision. Gut feelings are often so accurate. It received a very positive reaction from the person being described in the account. The post concerned a homeless man that I helped get a job and a new beginning on life. Every detail matched, so he figured out the rest from there and was glad that his story might give some degree of hope to others. First reply: that is not a horror story. What does that say about Reddit, I wonder? And was glad that his story might give some degree of hope to others. Remember this, that come what may, no matter how you feel today, when clouds descend in darker skies, tomorrow too, the sun will rise. On a different account I posted about some relationship troubles I was having during my first few years of college. Basically my girlfriend had moved down to California to go to hers, and I stayed where I was to go to mine. Being fairly used to sleeping in the same bed, we used to fall asleep over Skype next to each other. But around second quarter I had woken up to her masturbating while taking pictures, what turned out to be video, to someone, with Skype still on. I asked for help. Most people were creeped out by the sleeping over Skype thing. It was very unhelpful. Turns out she didn't see it. One of the people she was recording for did. Turns out she was camgirling for spending cash. He showed her profile and everything, and yeah, it was her. She used to do this I'm cuckolding him thing for them talking about me. So apparently the stories were creepily similar, and he told her his next paid session with her, and she came to talk to me. We managed another quarter with me feeling that out, but I just couldn't. I don't share well. Dude was bro as F though. Well, it wasn't really about you being able to share, it was about her betrayal of trust. She kept something super important from you and seemed to get off on it. I'm sorry that happened to you. Nothing special. Worked at a lab that got some national press. A coworker commented they worked on it. I chimed in that O2 worked on it. They are the only coworker that knows much main account name. Doesn't it bother you that they know? At least they don't know about PM_me_fake_tits. A few years ago I posted about a Tinder date I had. I guess she was also into Reddit and found the post. She thought it was funny, responded in the comments, and we had a good real life laugh about it. Years ago on a different account I shared a story about this dude overreacting to my BFF telling him she wasn't interested. Me, being young and foolish, had a username that I used everywhere else. He found the story, recognized the name, and showed up in my DMs. He was not happy. I deleted my account and made a new one straight after with a brand new name I had never used before. A few years later my BFF's boyfriend at the time found a story I had posted about a D&D campaign we were both in. I had to delete that account too. I've not had good luck with this. So I kinda get the first instance, but why delete an account over the second? Get ready to delete this one too. I commented on an AskReddit post about the most fucked up thing you ever walked in on. I was really late to the party and didn't think anyone would see my comment about a wild thing I walked in on during a house party my roommates and I threw. I was happy when the post started getting attention. Then it started getting thousands of upvotes. My friend who was my roommate at the time of the story asked in a group chat, my old roommates are all in, are any of you bud boy on Reddit? They quickly figured out it was me, based on my Reddit history. The result was I had to panic delete all my porn free posts out of embarrassment. Now all my friends know my Reddit account. I find it very freeing as I used to keep it private, but I just don't care anymore. That comment ended up being my highest ever with like 12k upvotes. I still don't get why it got so many, especially since I was so late to post. It wasn't even that fucked up of an event, but I guess it was pretty fucked up to walk in on, so maybe it was the perfect comment. Oh, deleted posts have a way of hanging around. Reddit's arc.io. I posted about a smelly neckbeard ex that tried to keep all my things when we broke up, and how I had to escape with my things when he finally went to sleep after 3 days of non-stop gaming. He sent me some messages asking if I posted that and why I would say that. I didn't answer him, logged out of the account, and kept on keeping on. Keith, if you see this, you never brushed your teeth or showered, we never had sex, because your dick was F nasty. You ought to be ashamed of yourself for the way you treated your mom and sister. Get your crap together, dude. Keith, you nasty. Jesus, that's how it was with my ex. He could not accept why I broke up with him and suddenly moved out of our apartment. Our roommates convinced him it was because I was cheating, and I just laughed at him. Bro, you F smelled and had so much plaque buildup I wanted to vomit. Bye. Oof, bodied him. A little more than a year ago I've posted about a girl that I started dating, and due to sheer luck she found my post. I've never been happier in my life and we're engaged now. AWW, how fabulous. What did you say in the post? Posted on a small subreddit that was pretty closely knit about my family situation and asking for help and advice on attending an event while dealing with their vitriol. Didn't even mention them by name, and I was living halfway across the country at the time, struggling to make ends meet, and I didn't really want to piss them off unnecessarily and cause myself more headaches. Got a call later that day from one of my parents screaming in holy murder that how dare you post such horrible things about us, take that down right now. Turns out they had gotten my flying monkey little brothers to figure out my account based on a cursory mention of the online community in question and spy on my online activity. I don't like my family very much. I don't like your family very much either. I tend to call those types of people ex-family. Helps if you have no problems cutting human contact with people. I found a girl from my school mention my real name and said she would want me to bathe her income. Utter freak out. Make sure to drink a lot of water that day. Well, did you? Are you that hot? This was a classic. https://www.reddit.com/r/relationship_advice/comments/9zvjfx/wife_told_me_a_obliged/. What the fuck did you bring upon this cursed land? https://www.reddit.com/r/relationship_advice/comments/9zvjfx/wife_told_me_a_obliged/he never updated. I wonder if they got their crap together. Wow. WTF did I just read? Read story *logs out of reddit *delets app from phone *throws phone into river. I posted a story about this awesome ski buddy I had in college and hadn't seen in 20 years. He saw it, we chatted, and we ended up skiing together a few days later, and we keep in touch now and became really good friends again. So this is sort of related but a little backwards. This guy I was with for a year or so went back to being a good little Mormon right after the relationship and married a good little Mormon girl less than a year later, in the temple no less. When we were together he was very into sex and BDSM. Like, everyday kind of thing. Her username is the same name she uses in all her public stuff, so when I ran across it, I recognized it and snooped and found multiple posts about her husband's lack of interest in sex. I was mildly tempted to say something, but I didn't. Please do. I live for this stuff. I helped pull a guy out from a car wreck where he was trapped underneath the car face down. I had limited knowledge of how the wreck happened, etc., but the date and description were undeniable. He reached out to me on Reddit, and I was too scared to go meet up with him. I was just glad to know he was okay. A few decades ago, I was traveling from Washington, D.C. to California by air. I was seated next to a very young girl, perhaps 5 or 6, who was traveling alone. Her grandparents were allowed to come on board and get her set up and say goodbye. They were so sad and crying, and they gave her one last hug. I befriended this young girl for the long flight and tried to make her journey more pleasant. I gave her some little trinkets to entertain her, made some drawn cartoons for her, gave her a tissue to dry her tears, that kind of thing. She was returning from visiting her grandparents for the summer, and it was time to come home to her mom. And she was not pleased about this. When I said goodbye to her in the airport, her mother yanked her away without so much as a hug, and the little girl was turning around and waving goodbye to me the entire corridor as she was being hustled out of the airport, trailing behind her mother. Was quite sad to me. I just kept waving until she was out of sight. So what? 30 plus years later, on Reddit, after telling this story, I received a reply asking, "Is your name XXX my actual first name?" And I thought, WTF, yes. I quickly scanned proof, and it turns out, this person recognized my story. The young girl grew up in a very sad household, died early from cancer I think, but she had given birth to a daughter, and the daughter was given my first name, named after a nice lady on the airplane who gave her tissues and told her she was a good girl. I had family living in Hawaii, so I made a little memorial on the beach and threw flowers into the surf for this young girl. Such a huge world. Made small. Here is the thread. https://www.reddit.com/r/askreddit/comment/1_attendance_of_edit/seatbait r/. I write erotica for a living, and I've told a variation on this story a couple of times. A very polite guy who wanted me to write a commission piece about him being sounded by a Hot Wheels car. I don't recommend googling it if you don't know what it is. Basically, he wanted a story about a small car stretching his dick hole, and then about the tiny little wing mirrors ripping it apart as it came out again. It's usually a popular story in threads about the weirdest sexual request you've ever got. After posting it one time, someone sent me a PM telling me that the offer was still open if I wanted to take it. I think it was a joke, but the username in question had a couple of things in common with the email address that was used to try and commission in the first place, so it may very well have been the same person. Not enough that I couldn't put it down to coincidence, but still enough to give me pause. It's happened a couple of times where people are obviously joking, but that's the only one that made me think it was legit. Either way, I still didn't take the job. I like how you are just not to Google sounding, then describe it so vividly. That made me laugh. I had an abusive boyfriend and didn't know what to do, or whether or not I was actually being abused. All I knew was I was hurting, and I wanted advice or somebody to talk to. He would find my posts, bring them up, and basically just yell at me about it, and question what he was supposed to do, and get so angry I would just delete the posts, so he would leave me alone. That eventually made me delete my Twitter, losing contact with a lot of friends from high school. I really should have listened to the people giving me advice sooner. Not a person, my university. This was about 10 years ago now. Yikes, time flies. I posted about an issue I had with my alma mater and a post-graduation billing error. Basically a post to vent my frustration and confusion, mixed with an ask for advice point. My phone rang like the next day. Some guy from the school used the information from my post to figure out who I was and called me to talk it all over. Yikes. I know he meant well, but I would have preferred a PM with an invitation to call them instead. Everything was worked out in the end, but I still occasionally think of that moment with a twinge of discomfort. I reconnected with an old friend of mine because he found a story I told about him. Years ago I told this story involving my friend Andy from college. Later on that day I get a PM saying, "Hey, it's Sandy from your story." I knew right away it was him because he called me by a nickname that only he called me. It was cool hearing from him because we hadn't talked in years and we ended up reconnecting. Now we are good friends again, and it all happened because he stumbled on a comment I wrote about him. Edit. Here is a screenshot of a conversation Andy and I had when I talked about this on another post a while back as some sort of proof. That's a great story. I can't stand it when people don't preheat ovens. Big tuna. This is exactly the kind of wholesome I logged on for. I don't have a personal story to share here, as I'm really careful on what I say and try as much as possible not to give explicit clues about myself. But I really just wanna know about the aftermath of the biggest tifu of 2019. Basically,